Hello, Henrico learners and families. Welcome back to EdFlix. I'm Mrs. Farnham from Ridge Elementary. I'm here to talk to you today about identifying main idea in nonfiction. This can be a tricky concept because details are so ever-present and when you read nonfiction. There's so much information, and sometimes it can overwhelm you, and it gets really difficult to say that this whole group of information is mainly about one thing. So we're going to work on that today. I thought I'd start by showing you a book that might seem a little simple, but we're actually going to see how you can use some of our second and third grade ideas to even work on a simple book. This one belongs to my 2-year-old. It's called Know About Farm Animals, and I really like it because it has great pictures. So the first page is all about sheep. And first there's a real photograph, so that's a great nonfiction text feature. And then if you lift the flap, you can see that there's more information with some drawings inside. Another nonfiction text feature. There are captions, there's sidebars, and there's even some nice diagrams inside. So one of the main things that they talk about in this fold-up section is they talk about what are the different sheep called, what's on their body, and then they go into how the woolly coats that are on their bodies, that's what the farmers actually use. And then at the bottom it tells us that the farmers are able to take the wool, and do you see where the socks and the scarves and the hats are? That's actually what is created from their wool, and so we actually use some of the animal's fur for our clothing. Now, if I were to ask you what is the main idea of this little section of the book, I think a lot of second and third graders, they get hung up on either saying, oh, it's about a detail, which would be like, oh, it's about hats. Well, no, it's not really just about hats. It's about a lot more than that. So that would be like a detail. Or a lot of second and third graders, they get stuck on the topic. The topic would be sheep. And so when I ask a lot of my students, what's the main idea of this section? They like to say like one word, because it's easy, right? You say, oh, it's about sheep. Easy. But a main idea would have some more information in it. It would be a whole sentence. So the main idea for maybe this fold-out section would probably be something like, farmers have sheep on their farm because they make useful materials that humans can use to make clothing out of. Okay, so we have kind of a longer idea that incorporates a lot of the different sections that are in this, and that kind of pulls together more than just the topic and also more than just the details. And it's tricky because that's not actually written in the book, but knowing what I read, I'm able to get that from my brain. So that's what you're going to go watch your video on in Clever today in Brain Pop. Tim and Moby are going to talk to you about how the main idea is actually like the main point that the author is trying to make. And they're also going to talk a little bit about main idea versus topic and main idea versus details. After you watch your video, you have an assignment to go work on your own, to go read Building a Better Bicycle and answer the questions that come with it. I'll give you a clue. A lot of the questions that go with this passage are about details, and the details can be very difficult to remember. So make sure you go back and look for those details in the text. You don't have to remember every single thing that you read, but you probably should go back and look for that information to make sure you're getting your answers correct. After you're finished with that, don't forget to go back to Clever and log into Smarty Ants. It's so much fun to go and practice your reading in Smarty Ants, and you get to earn points. So have fun, and I will see you tomorrow.